Hey guys, it's Hans Hobbies, and today I have a running video of my new to me, Tamiya Blackfoot Xtreme. I'm actually super excited to have this one. I've actually had one of these before, but that's a story I'll save for a future video. But I picked this one up on eBay, so that's why I didn't really do an unboxing video of this. I got it used, as you can see. So it was just in a plastic, it was just in a regular generic cardboard box. And it came completely assembled. The previous owner had assembled it and painted it and stuff. You can see it's painted in this pretty nice, like, metallic flake blue. So the color of it's actually really nice. I actually really like the color of it. And the overall condition of the body is quite excellent. There's not even a single major crack or scratch or anything on it. There's some minor imperfections on the edges here, but overall it's in a really nice condition. I won it in a bid. Only one other person was bidding against me, so I won this thing pretty easily. I don't know why more people don't like the Blackfoot Xtreme. It's definitely one of my favorite Tamiyas and one of my favorite Tamiya models. I really like this Ford styled body. It's not officially licensed by Ford, but you can see it's very heavily Ford inspired. I really like this body. I am actually surprised that Tamiya hasn't re-released this body or used this body on any other model, because honestly it's a really nice body. The only thing I would change eventually is just to completely black out the grille, because I don't really like those vertical lines in the grille, but that's for another day. The only complaint I would have about the body is, while it is painted in this pretty nice paint, it's not painted it's not painted very great. So I might have to touch it up a little bit later, but for the most part it's fine. It's a runner body. So, well, all my stuff are runners, so it's bound to get scratched up anyway, so it's not bothering me too much. The decals are the original decals, though you can see most of it is missing. The original owner did not apply the original decals, and he did not include them. So that's a little bit unfortunate. But thankfully MCI Racing has these Blackfoot Xtreme decals available, so I'll probably get a sheet of that and apply it. I am seeing a little bit of an imperfection in the windshield, just a little bit of a smudgy there, but that'll probably clean up. But yeah, the wheels are on backwards, it does seem like. Let me see the other side. Yeah, the original owner did put the wheels on backwards. I actually just noticed that. I have made a couple changes to it, but only minor changes. It's mostly straight out of the box how I got it, except I put foam donuts under the body to keep it from rattling. I do that on most of my vehicles. I also flipped around the power switch like I did with my Bush Devil. I had to reset the servo horn, because the servo horn was very off. If you turn the radio on, it would basically sit like all the way to one side like that, and you couldn't trim it out. So I did have to reset that. But other than that, it's exactly how it came out of the box. Has all stock electronics, stock Tamiya 104BK speed control. It actually has a 75 megahertz AM Futaba receiver in there. You can see the long antenna tube. I did also change this. It came with a clear antenna tube, but I changed it for the black one because I personally like the look of the black one a lot better. And it has no bearings in it. It's just the stock bushings in it. But surprisingly, the chassis almost looks brand new. Like, there's not even a single nick on it. Like, it almost looks like he never used it. So really happy about that. I did pay a little bit more for this than I did with my other WTO ones, but it is definitely worth it for this body. And if you don't know about the WTO one, you can tell that your model is a Blackfoot Xtreme if it came with the yellow wheels. The Blackfoot Xtreme is the only one that came with these yellow turbine wheels. All the other ones came with chrome wheels. Even the Blackfoot 3 came with chrome wheels, so that's something to keep in mind. But yeah, it's running this Futaba AM radio, as you saw. I've actually it's ironic because It's not unreal, but it's funny because my other Blackfoot Xtreme that I used to have also came with this radio. So it seems like this was a pretty popular radio back then. Yeah, it's got that long antenna on it, and it takes the 8AA, so it's quite heavy, but it will work for what I need. So see how it runs. It is running a 3800 milliamp hour 6-cell nickel metal hydride battery pack, but I accidentally kept it plugged in overnight, so it's not going to have full power. But even so, it's getting across pretty well. And the heavy hard ABS body definitely makes it handle a little bit differently compared to the other WT01 vehicles, which all have Lexan bodies. It's a lot more bouncy, but that's part of what makes it fun. And even though it is bouncy, it still handles way better than the original Blackfoot ever did. And even the updated King Blackfoot with the independent rear suspension, this is naturally going to handle a lot better because it has the longer wheelbase as well as the longer track, the wider track. It is going as soon as I'm about to say it, it's going to be a lot more stable. It flips over. But yeah, overall it's going to be a lot more stable than the older versions. So that's another reason why this is one of my favorite versions of the Blackfoot and one of my favorite all-time Tamiya models. It's a real big shame that they haven't re-released this. I would have really liked to see this thing re-released. They're re-releasing a lot of the other 80s stuff. So I suspect since us 90s kids, or 90s babies are coming up into our adulthood and entering the workforce and stuff, I suspect in the next 5 or 10 years, we'll start seeing some of these 90s models and early 2000s models start getting re-released by Tamiya. All those 70s and 80s babies got to have their nostalgia trip with their re-releases, so I think it's kind of our turn. This is really nostalgic for me as well, because my first ever hobby grade RC car was a Traxxas Stampede. So it was a monster truck like this. It was also blue. So it kind of gives me that same feeling, but at the same time, it's kind of like my Stampede and my old favorite RC car from when I was a kid, which is a Nico FJ Cruiser monster truck. It's like those two had a baby, and this is the result. It's like the middle ground between both of them. So it's kind of like a double-sided nostalgia trip for me. My Stampede also was old enough where it had the 27 megahertz AM radio still, so even using this radio system and watching that antenna bounce around is also very nostalgic. In terms of performance, obviously, objectively, the Stampede is going to perform a lot better. It's going to be a lot faster, and it's going to be a lot more durable. But personally, I enjoy this Blackfoot Xtreme and the WT01 chassis in general more than the Stampede. Or I even had experience with the two-wheel drive Ruckus platform from ECX. And I enjoy this truck and this platform a lot more than those other ones, because it's just a little bit more nostalgic for me to drive. And I've had a lot better reliability personally from these models than the Traxxas and ECX models. Not to say those models are bad. Most of the reliability comes from the fact that these are pretty low powered trucks, so they're not subject to as much force. But the way it bounces around and stuff, it's a lot more enjoyable for me to watch and more entertaining for me personally. So that's my personal feelings about it. You can see the steering is a little bit sloppy because that servo saver is not the greatest, and also has a plastic gear, like really basic Futaba servo in it, which is pretty loose. So it's gonna be a little bit floppy, but that's fine. It goes where I point it, and it's definitely super enjoyable to drive. I definitely won't be putting any oil shocks in this one because I want it to bounce around like this. I like how it bounces around, so I'm gonna probably leave this one stock other than putting some ball bearings in it eventually, and maybe also putting in a 2.4 gigahertz radio. The AM system is nostalgic for me, and it's fun to drive in that aspect, but the reliability of AM radios and the lack of a fail-safe safety is kind of sketchy, especially with a vehicle with such a rare body like this. So I'll probably be putting in a 27 megahertz radio and then just still leave the antenna tube sticking out just so I get that feeling. You know, like most of the time when you're driving these, you're not actually like looking at the radio you're using anyway. So as long as the vehicle looks like it has an AM radio, it's enough of a nostalgia trip. Another reason why I like this platform a lot better than the Stampede or the ECX two-wheel drive monster truck platforms is those trucks are limited to just being a two-wheel drive monster truck, whereas, sorry, I gotta re-grip my camera. Those are stuck being two-wheel drive monster trucks, whereas the WT01 platform, and by extension the WR01 platform, sorry about all the extra noise outside. The birds are going crazy today and the planes are busy as usual. But this platform can be actually converted into a four-wheel drive dual motor setup. So that's super cool for anyone that wants to upgrade to a four-wheel drive platform. So in my opinion, it's a little bit more versatile in that way. But it's a lot of extra noise, so probably hard to hear me. But that's my quick run and overview of my Blackfoot Xtreme that I recently added to my collection. If you're counting now, this is my third WT01 that I've received or I've purchased in the recent days. I don't know how I ended up with 3 of them. Originally I was just gonna get the Mud Blaster 2, but somehow I ended up with 3 of them. But hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will definitely feature this truck again on my channel. It's a cool truck. And if you guys enjoyed this, give me a like, comment, subscribe, all that good YouTube shenanigans, and I'll see you guys next time.